We've had a day today that's been started with torrential rain. So I've been doing a few things in the house and now I'm in my apothecary. So I thought I might tell you what is an apothecary. So come on in. You're very welcome. So because the rain is so torrential, we just can't do anything outside. So I'm just doing a couple of little kind of finishing off jobs in here. I've got some herbs to strain off, I've got herbs to chop, and I've got some calendula seeds here that I'm just popping into these seed packets that my friend Noreen brought for me. And so I just would like to start off as well by saying I think I must be the luckiest YouTube person in the world, because the comments from last week were so heartening. I feel personally so much relief and uplift to think that there are so many hundreds of people out there who are like-minded and feeling that trying to live through the heart is a good idea. So I'm just so delighted, and I'm sorry to say, there were so many comments. I'm completely overwhelmed by them. I haven't possibly got time to respond to everyone as I usually try to do. And to be honest, when we lost the power and the internet for a week or more because of Storm Owen, it was such a relief not to have to be on the computer all the time that I'm really reluctant to have to go back. So I've read all the comments and you'll see there's a little heart next to it, and I absolutely appreciate them, but I just don't have time this time to respond to everyone. But I know you'll be okay with that because you're just such loving, wonderful people. So today I'm here in my little apothecary, and I was thinking that I often talk about herbal medicine and how to make herbal medicine, but you might be wondering, and then what do we do after that? So I thought I'd give you a little rundown as to what purpose the apothecary serves and what is it in fact. So an apothecary would be a place where you keep your herbal medicine. In the past, in the old days, it basically was the place where your herbs would be put together in a formula or put together in some kind of prescription, so that you would go there and get your herbal medicine, much the same as you might go to a chemist or a pharmacist today. So that's what an apothecary would have been. It's a place where somebody would have grown herbs, processed herbs, and then stored them as I do here. So for example, this is a place where I keep all my dried herbs. I have a big box under here full of brown paper envelopes like this. I have a big store of brown paper bags up there on the shelf, and once the herbs are dried they go into a bag. So here I have a bag of nettles, and I'm going to chop them up now to put into my jar of nettle tea. We never process the herbs until they're needed, because we're going to destroy enzymes and we're going to denature them by doing that, and they just won't be as nutritious or as effective. So you keep them as whole as possible. You can see how green and you can hear how crisp those nettles are. They've actually still got a little bit of sting, so there's loads of life in them yet, and that's because they weren't processed. They've just been dried, stored in an airtight paper bag, and then they've been kept in a box out of the light. And it's the same with this. This is mugwort. It looks just as if I've just harvested it, but that's actually from last summer. So if you're drying herbs, you want them to look exactly as they did when you first harvested them. Here I've got a little bit of meadowsweet. Now this does look a little bit dry because the leaves are shriveled and the flowers have gone a little bit yellowy, but that is completely normal. That's what happens. But otherwise you can still recognize that as meadowsweet. It couldn't be anything else. So again, this hasn't been chopped up yet. I'm going to do it later today and make some meadowsweet tea. So if you are a person who cannot find a particular herb or medicinal plant in your area and you buy it in, it should always look as vibrant green as these nettles do. It should also look reminiscent of the plant it once was, because anybody can sell chopped up green stuff. It could be grass, it could be anything. So you need to know that your herbs, when you buy them in dried, are absolutely the herbs they're supposed to be, and that they still look fresh and alive. So I'll just show you over here. There are all my paper bags for drying, and I reuse them. I mean, some bags I've had on the go, just continually reusing them for years until they become just past it. So I invested in one big case of paper bags, and they'll last me a lifetime. And then I have my empty bottles and containers, and that could spread out over time depending on how much stuff I'm making. It could diminish all the way into nothing and I have to buy more. It just depends. These shelves are herbs that are infusing into tinctures or into infused oils. Up there we've got hawthorn tincture in alcohol, we've got catnip. I've also got catnip in apple cider vinegar for children, and I've got other plants still in olive oil to make salves and balms with. And they would sit up there for a minimum of 6 weeks. Some of those have been up there for a few months now, and I will need to strain them. So when we have a rainy day like today, it's a perfect opportunity because I can't go outside, and I'll strain them all off. And when they get strained off, they go into these big, large brown bottles, because you need to keep them in a dark brown bottle to keep light away from them. And then they're all up here on these shelves. These are all the completed tinctures, whether they're in alcohol or whether they are in apple cider vinegar. There might even be a glycerite up here. A lot of these herbs, well, all of these herbs are from my garden or the surrounding fields, because I mainly work with plants that present themselves in my local environment, and I also grow some particular herbs in the herb garden. So things like lemon balm, which I wouldn't find growing wild, I would have lemon balm in the herb garden. And rosemary would be in the herb garden. St. John's wort would be in the herb garden. But then there are other plants like dandelion, red clover, plantain, yellow dock, yarrow. They would all be wild plants, wild flowers, or plants that have medicinal value. And they're all completed and they're up there waiting for somebody to use them. So it makes me feel very secure to have this section of the apothecary filled with medicines that can help with everything, really. You know, you've got herbal remedies here for the emotions, for the nervous system, for the respiratory system, for the digestive system, for wounds and aches and pains. There's something there for everybody. So as I said, it makes me feel very secure. Now, the processing of herbs occurs when you first harvest them, of course. You have to work with them as quickly as possible so that they maintain that viriditas, that green life. And so they'll be chopped up and tinctured straight away, or they get dried. And to dry them, I put them into the paper bags, and I might hang them on this string in the paper bag, or I lay them out to dry in different baskets. I have loads of baskets under here, all nice and tidied away now since I've reorganized the space, and they will be brought out and laid along here, and the plants will dry in the baskets. And then, as I say, they go into paper bags, and then they will be used as and when they're needed. So sometimes, apart from tinctures, I make other medicines. I might make salves and balms and body care products, because making your own body care guarantees that you don't put anything that's toxic or harmful or synthetic or anything like that into your products, because your skin will absorb 60% of what you put onto it. So you want to be sure you're just using natural ingredients. So over here, I have some of my tools and equipment, a pestle and mortar, if I want to grind anything down very finely. I have some little measuring cups. I have a pan that I use as a bain-marie or a double boiler. I've got jugs and funnels, and I have more of those in these drawers. So I have funnels, I have measuring jugs, I have weighing scales, and I have my bits of muslin in here ready for straining, along with some little crystal glass jars for making flower essences. And when I have my flower essences made, they also go into an amber bottle in my cupboard here, and they're kept there until they're needed as well. And you can get these from the website if you're interested in chakra flower essences. And I also have another big range of flower essences over there, which I must put on the website as well. Over here, all the infused oils that I've made. So all the different medicines that you make, whether you're infusing plants into alcohol or apple cider or into oil, they all need to be kept in a brown bottle out of the light. So these are my oils I've made. I've got rose oil, plantain, garlic, dandelion. I've got chickweed and rosemary. And I've got red clover oil and figwort oil, which are still infusing up there. And then I have some salves that I've made in different jars, and creams that I've made. I've got rose water here that I make every year because I have so many rose plants, Rosa rugosa particularly, that's so fragrant. And then I've got some little bottles of tincture that I've made as digestive aids and respiratory aids. So as you can imagine now, an apothecary is a kind of little factory. So you're harvesting, you're drying, you're processing, and you're making all your herbal remedies. And then you're storing them on shelves. So I have my Weed Handbooks here ready to go out in the post. And I've got some dried herbs up here that would be used quite regularly. And that is it. I think I've covered everything now. Yeah. So since I've been talking to you, the rain has stopped and the sun has made something of an appearance. So then, this is my apothecary, and anybody can have an apothecary anywhere. It could just be one little cupboard. It could just be one drawer. You would have it to suit yourself and to suit your needs and the needs of your family. And it could be anywhere in the house. You know, I've moved around the house from the kitchen into here, somewhere else, upstairs, downstairs, and I'm finally settled in here now, hopefully. So I would just encourage everybody to have their own apothecary, even if you've only got 3 plants in it. You know, I would say nettles, dandelion, and maybe rose. It doesn't really matter. Just have 3 or 4 or 5 that you know you will use regularly to great benefit for your family. It's just another way of feeling in control. So there's no panic. You know, you're in control. You feel more self-fulfilled because you are able to look after yourself and your family. And you're just more self-resilient. You're just resilient against things that could happen. It's another way of being independent. And as I say, anyone can have a little apothecary in their own home. And I'm just going to finish this last seed envelope because the rain has stopped. There's a brief window of opportunity by the looks of it. Tiny little bit of light in the sky. And I think the poor dogs desperately need to have a little walk up the road, and so do I. So I will do that now. And if you have any questions about an apothecary, do drop a line into the comments and I'll do my best to answer, or email. That's probably the best thing. And, you know, to get started, Just wait till springtime comes, the nettles come up, start with nettles. So I better go before the rain comes again. I hope you have a great week. I hope that's given you some kind of inspiration to set up your own apothecary, and have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Sunday. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the Weed Handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.